Alright guys, with 220 days, 1 hour, 58 minutes, and 35 seconds before GTA 6 comes out, I feel like we're expected to receive some sort of update or even a third trailer before the end of the year. And I'm not basing this on absolutely anything, so don't take my word for it, but I just have faith, you know?
Have some goddamn faith!
In the meantime, and while new information that is relevant and actually warrants making a video about comes out, I figure it will be fun to just kinda go back to GTA 5 and revisit the game a little bit. So if you think you know GTA 5, here is 60 minutes of GTA facts. Get it? Because it's 60 minutes and there's 220 days until GTA 6 comes out. Let's just jump right into the first one. And also make sure to subscribe. You can actually rappel from certain helicopters if they're at a reasonable altitude for you to do so. Before Smuggler's Run, this was only available for the Merryweather helicopter pickup. Older cars from 2013 and 2014 actually have better damage models than most of the newer ones. They bend, dent, and deform way more realistically when you crash them. There are a total of 263 pools across the entire GTA 5 map. And yes, I actually counted them all. If the backyard only had a hot tub or spa, I still counted it. Took way longer than I'd like to admit, but hey, someone had to do it. On a second thought, not really. There is a strange glitch that sometimes causes male police officers to speak with a female voice. It's super rare, but when it happens, you'll hear the high-pitched dialogue lines coming from what's clearly a male model.
Aren't you just a great example to us all?
I'm gonna smash into your stupid face. I've got insane core strength, by the way.
The script for GTA 5 is officially over 10,000 pages long, according to Dan Houser in an interview in 2012. Surprisingly enough, many actors have mentioned they had pretty little leeway with the cussing and use of profanities, which is pretty funny considering, well, it's GTA.
I'm living a dream, baby, and that dream is it is fucking
The original idea for GTA Online was reportedly much more gang-focused than what we ended up getting. Back in early concept stages, it was said that Los Santos would have been divided between 4 major factions: the Valas, the Police, the Bikers, and the Families, who would have had to constantly fight over turf across the city. These designs apparently show up in early assets by GTA 5's lead graphic designer, where you can see maps or areas marked as being controlled by different gangs. People think this system would have allowed for full-scale gang wars, where each group fights for control of neighborhoods, key landmarks, and income-generating territory, just like the businesses that we have in GTA Online. You can imagine mechanics like gang reputation, influence, and escalating confrontations between these factions, which could have made the online world feel more dynamic and chaotic, but I don't know if it would have worked for the long run, as GTA Online has a massive and vast catalog of missions that range from doing store stick-ups to even working with the government. So I don't know, tell me what you guys think of these concepts. For some reason, our online characters have a different way of holding the SMG than Michael. However, they share the same animation with Franklin and Trevor. The helipad on the yacht is actually completely bugged. If you stand on it, it clips right through your feet. Maybe that's why someone left this specific line of code in the leaked source code.
Hack fix until artists stop putting terrain up in the fucking air, underneath the cutoff height we've all agreed upon.
It's actually pretty tricky to figure out the exact timeline of GTA Online. Originally, it was clearly meant to take place before the main story, somewhere around late 2012 or early 2013. This is hinted at in story mode, where Lester already mentions your online character to Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. The early updates like heists and lowriders that came out around 2014 also seem to fit within that pre-story mode period. However, after the gun running and Doomsday Heist updates, the timeline appears to move past the events of story mode. Agent 14 even references the year 2017 in the mission Mole Hunt.
Yeah, it's 2017. I can't believe it either.
And the addition of those futuristic vehicles, yes, the flying bike, makes it pretty clear the game has moved forward. Since then, the timeline seems to progress in real time. For example, in the contract update, Franklin is older, he is married to Tanisha, Chop is an old dog, and Imani even brings up NFTs.
Crypto investor, so I did a little digging, and it looks like he wants to use it as an NFT.
Which was something that didn't exist back in 2013. So at this point, it's safe to say that GTA Online takes place in the present day. Also, thanks to this timeline adjustment, Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online are the only games in the series that take place across 2 different decades. GTA 5 spans the late 2000s and early 2010s, while GTA Online continues the timeline from the 2010s into the 2020s. The rubber gun is a weapon that was cut from GTA 5, most likely very early in development. In the game files, however, there's an image showing what looks like a blue tinted Uzi, using the same model as the gold SMG from the Ballad of Gay Tony. There's also a leftover rubber shooting sound effect tied to it, suggesting it might have been intended as a non-lethal or joke weapon that fired rubber bullets. It never made it into the final game, but I put together a little concept of what the gun could have looked and sounded like if it had made it into the game. Back in 2016, a supposed design document leaked online that revealed details about several scrapped single-player DLCs for GTA 5. According to the leak, Rockstar had originally planned 3 expansions focused on each protagonist. The first centered on Trevor working as a CIA agent, or I guess I should actually say the IAA, with missions involving a casino robbery and a submarine raid, concepts that were likely reworked into the Doomsday and casino heists in GTA Online. The second revolved around Franklin and an alien invasion, where Mount Chiliad will split open and unleash hordes of aliens, an idea that seems to have partially survived through Online's alien survivals and early concept art. The third featured Michael during a zombie apocalypse, protecting his family in a story similar to Red Dead Redemption's Undead Nightmare, with remnants of this concept visible in Online's armored boxville and apocalyptic outfits in the Arena Wars. Ultimately, these story DLCs were abandoned and most of the ideas were repurposed for GTA Online instead. Alright guys, brace yourselves because this one is a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but inside your arcade, there's an arcade machine called Race and Chase, and it's a typical classic arcade racing game. This game covers different locations such as Los Santos, San Fierro, Las Venturas, Liberty City, and Vice City. For the Vice City level, we can actually hear a theme song that we haven't heard before, and it's called Vice Lights. Many people in the community speculate that if you slow it down to 0.75 speed, you will hear what will be GTA 6's theme. Rockstar is known for giving these obscure teases, so this theory is pretty well received within the community. I'll play it for you for a few seconds so you can listen to it, but if the game comes out and this actually turns out being the official theme, I'ma have to cut this part guys because I don't want the whole video to get claimed. Also, in the arcade, if you select the Madame Nazar game too many times, she'll eventually give you 3 sets of numbers that you can dial in your in-game phone. If you call this number, Madame Nazar will actually pick up.
You were looking for me? Yes. The future is open to me.
Madame Nazar is a character originally from Red Dead Online. Considering she is a grown adult in Red Dead, this will make her older than 126 years old. While recording this fact, I also found this cool little detail too. She will also reference the car duplication glitch many players famously used back in the day. Horses were apparently supposed to be in GTA 5 at some point, as evidenced by an in-game audio file where the police dispatcher mentions the player escaping on horseback. This clearly hints that horses were once planned as usable or ambient animals. The idea was likely scrapped early, but hey, at least Rockstar pulled all that effort into developing horses for Red Dead Redemption 2, complete with, you know, impressive, realistic horse balls. Lamar is actually one of the only characters in the entire game to directly reference one of the protagonist's special abilities. During the car chase in the mission Chop, he jokingly tells Franklin to use that special driving thing that he does, referring to Franklin's slow motion driving ability. Lamar even makes fun of him for it, saying that Franklin looks funny while doing it and that he makes a face whenever he uses it.
Man, if he gone cause you ain't in the zone with that special driving you do, I'm gonna be real upset, homie. You get all space when you do that homie. That's hilarious.
For some reason, which I can't explain you why, in the middle of the map there's this one particular corner where NPC drivers just can't seem to figure out how to turn properly. Every single one of them takes the corner way too wide or cuts it too close. Somehow though, they almost never crash, so I guess you could say they're either extremely skilled or just really lucky. The radio station West Coast Classics was actually at the center of a real-life lawsuit shortly after GTA 5's release.
Y'all listen to West Coast Classics?
On October 11, 2013, rapper and former Death Row Records artist Das Dillinger of Da Dog Pound issued a cease and desist letter to Rockstar Games and Take-Two Interactive, claiming they used 2 of his songs, those being Seawalk by Corrupt and Nothing But Will Cavi Hit by Mac 10 and Da Dog Pound, without his permission. According to Das, Rockstar had only offered him $14,271 to license the songs, which he declined, yet the tracks were still included in the West Coast Classics playlist. The letter demanded either a better offer or that Rockstar recall and destroy all unsold copies of GTA 5. In the end, the lawsuit quietly disappeared with no action taken by either party, and both songs remain in the game to this day. In many of the apartments across GTA 5, if you take a closer look inside the bathroom, you'll notice a small but clever Easter egg, a tube of toothpaste labeled CJ's Toothpaste. It's a fun little nod to GTA San Andreas protagonist hidden in plain sight. Because of the way sound effects are implemented in GTA 5, most fully automatic weapons sound like they're firing much faster than their actual rate of fire. The audio loop gives the impression of rapid bursts. Interestingly, the MG is one of the few exceptions. Its sound design actually makes it seem like it's firing slower than it really is, creating an odd mismatch between the visuals and the weapon's actual fire rate. The iFruit smartphones in GTA Online are modeled after 2013 era iPhones, which will realistically be obsolete by 2020 due to the widespread shutdown of 3G networks across most of the United States. Only a few remote rural areas retain limited 3G coverage for a while, meaning that for the iFruit to still receive service in the modern day, it will need to support voice over LTE at the very least. Okay, this one kinda blew my mind, but it's actually possible to witness a solar eclipse in GTA 5. The game features a surprisingly detailed lunar cycle system, which allows for rare celestial events like eclipses and different moon phases to appear dynamically in the sky. This is a small but impressive example of Rockstar's attention to environmental detail. Most players never even realize the sky follows a real astronomical pattern, and it makes me wonder what things they're gonna add to GTA 6. It's gonna be insane. If you manage to get the high score in all the bunker shooting range challenges, you'll unlock several rewards. One of the best being an extra 5 throwable capacity slots. It's a small but hugely useful upgrade, so I recommend you doing it. Also, I'm just gonna come out here and give you the tip on how to beat this, because I don't know if Rockstar actually tested these with a controller, but they're pretty much impossible to pass. Or maybe my abilities as a gamer have become a bit rusty with age, but if you wanna do them the easy way, all you have to do is go to a gun locker and only enable your minigun or your Widowmaker, and once you're about to start the challenge, you enable the weapon loadout and it will load you into the challenge with the minigun, and it will become a lot more easier to complete. This is a feature that surprisingly not many people know it exists in GTA Online. Hiding in bushes will make you completely invisible to the cops. This is also something that not many people know, so there you go. If you ever find yourself in low health, hopping into an ambulance will instantly restore it. Similarly, entering a police armored truck or a SWAT truck not only refills your health, but it also gives you full armor. It's not something the game ever tells you, but it's a neat hidden mechanic and a good reason to hijack emergency vehicles when things get rough. While researching this video, I was also surprised to find out that not many people know this, but dialing 911 in your phone will let you call the paramedics, the police, or even the fire department. I guess these guys weren't about putting fires though. So here's a bonus one for you in case you didn't know, but the fire truck actually has a hose that you can use to hose down people, and it's actually hilarious to use. The Mile High Club is a scraper complex under construction in both Grand Theft Auto 5 and GTA Online. If you don't know what the Mile High Club means, you're gonna have to look it up, and I'm gonna count that as a fact. What's funny is that, as we established before, according to the online timeline, over 12 years have passed and somehow the building is still not finished. While Rockstar has completely remodeled other locations like the casino, this one remains completely frozen mid-construction. The reason could be that the building is tied to several missions, free roam events, heist preps, and there's even a gang attack at the construction site, which will make it tricky to change without breaking them. Speaking of the Mile High Club, on the second highest floor, there are these red bars or poles that seem completely normal when you walk into them, but if you somehow manage to get a vehicle up there, which already takes some effort, as you can clearly see, you can drive right through them as if they weren't even there. It's one of the many unfinished things left in that eternally under construction building. Okay, this one is the last one for the Mile High Club, I promised, but here's another funny detail. The Mile High Club actually appears in the Los Santos skyline, inside the Race and Chase arcade games I mentioned earlier. Even though those games were supposedly made in the late 1980s, long before the building ever existed. That's either a developer oversight or Rockstar's way of poking fun at the long-running community joke that the Mile High Club will never be finished. Michael DeSanta, or Townley, seems heavily inspired by Tom Sizemmore's character Michael Chirito from the 1995 film Heat. Both are seasoned bank robbers with families, Italian surnames, and a love for the thrill of crime. There's also a clear nod to Heat in the mission Blitzplay, where Michael, Franklin, and Trevor rob an armored truck by slamming into it with a tow truck, which is almost identical to the armored Ben heist in the movie that goes wrong because of Waingro, a character many believe Trevor is loosely based on. Even Trevor discovering Michael's survival through his signature line, "You forget 1,000 things every day, make sure this is one of them," mirrors how the police in Heat identified Chirito by his own recurring catchphrase, "Slick." Speaking of Michael, you can actually break into Michael's house in GTA Online. You can do this using a simple wall breach trick. Okay, to do this, just head over to Michael's place in Rockford Hills, go around to the backyard door, and take cover against it. Then, open the pause menu, go to Online, Jobs, Rockstar Created, Races, and start any race. Once you're in the job screen, simply back out, and when you load back into GTA Online, you'll be glitched right inside Michael's house. You can walk around freely and explore the interior just like in story mode, only this time as your online character. It's a fun little trick that lets you pull a Franklin and sneak into Michael's house in GTA Online. On this building right here, there's a small staircase that leads up to this strange empty room. If you look closely, the window inside actually reflects an out-of-bounds area of the map. It's like the reflection is showing some kind of alternate or unfinished version of the world, which might be just a bug in how Rockstar handled reflections, or maybe something that was meant to be used for a mission or cutscene and just never got finished. Check this out, guys. GTA 5 has been released and re-released a total whopping of 8 times. Across 3 generations of consoles, from the PS3 and Xbox 360 to the PS4 and Xbox One, and finally the PS5 and Xbox Series X and S, making it one of the most reissued and longest supported games in history. In early 2024, the entire source code for GTA 5 was leaked online, a massive deal if you know anything about game development. This kind of leak exposes everything from internal systems and unfinished features to developer tools and proprietary mechanics. Many parts of the game's inner workings could be copied or reverse engineered. But one of the funniest takeaways from the leak wasn't even technical. It was the developer comments scattered throughout the files. Many of them were filled with dark humor, frustration, and straight up unhinged rants, giving us a glimpse into the chaos of making a game as huge as GTA 5. Some of the comments are genuinely hilarious.
This has got to be some of the shittest code in the entire game. Just kill me. Drawable hierarchies have wrong setup. Stupid. There is a code branch in Alex segment that is rarer than rocking horse.
And if you want to see a few of them for yourself, check out a video called The Unhinged Nature of the GTA 5 source code. Can be pretty interesting if you know about coding. You can play as almost any character or animal in director mode, but strangely, not a single aquatic one. In story mode, you can become sea creatures by eating underwater peyote plants. It's unclear why Rockstar cut them out of the director's mode. If you use mods to explore the casting trailer, there's actually a huge aquarium model on the right hand side, most likely meant to display the aquatic animals you could choose from. It seems that feature was fully planned but ended up being scrapped for one reason or another. This might be the rarest animation in GTA 5. There's a strange bug in the game's ragdoll physics where if you get hit by a car at just the right angle, your character will perform an animation that looks almost identical to one from GTA 4. It's likely an old leftover from that game's Euphoria physics system that somehow carried over into GTA 5. When the Diamond Casino and Resort update was first released, Rockstar originally planned to place billboards all around Los Santos, promoting its grand opening. This was discovered through leftover game file data labeled DLC VW billboard, suggesting that promotional ads were ready but ultimately never used. The billboards likely would have looked similar to the ones used for Motomami Los Santos Radio, the station promoting Rosalia's album. Those did make it into the game and can still be seen across the city today. There's a couple of subtle references in GTA 5 to Rockstar's most controversial game, Manhunt. The first one isn't technically part of Online, but it's worth mentioning. During the story, Michael casually mentions that his very first heist took place on the outskirts of Carcer City, which is the same location where Manhunt takes place.
Mikey, bro, what was your first bank score?
88, outskirts of Carcer City. Took a small franchise for 10G.
The second one, in GTA Online, as a part of the Diamond Casino heist update, Rockstar added several new masks directly inspired by Manhunt's gangs, the Smileys, Innocents, and Word Dogs. It's a pretty cool nod to one of Rockstar's darkest and most infamous titles. And honestly, after GTA 6 releases, I really hope Rockstar at least considers revisiting Manhunt. I feel like with today's tech and atmosphere, it could make for one of the most intense and grounded horror experiences ever made. In the intro cutscene for GTA Online, your player isn't alone on that plane. Every other player loading into the same session actually appears with you. Most people never notice this detail, but it's a cool reminder that all of us landed in Los Santos together over 12 years ago. Man, that was a long time time ago. We need GTA 6 ASAP. Your character actually walks faster in first person than in third person. Nobody really knows why that's the case, but it's been that way for a few years and Rockstar has never bothered to fix it, so there you go. Also, you run up the stairs significantly faster in first person than in third. While we're on the topic of walking, this one I've seen a few people mention, but I might as well include it since we're on the topic. You can actually climb slopes and hills your character wouldn't normally be able to if you're aiming down sights. Also, while aiming down sights, if you press G on PC or the D-pad for consoles, your character will toss a grenade or whatever your equipped explosive is. This is pretty much some advanced PvP features. If you dial this number on your in-game phone, you will suddenly get a small explosion. Also, for some reason, your phone will become completely dark. If you look into the back of an RPG, you can actually see straight through it. It's completely hollow inside, just an empty tube. However, for some reason, this is fixed in online. Those big AC units you often see in roofs can actually be blown up. Once you blow them up, you can also still use the ladder despite it being destroyed, and it'll look like your character is floating in the air. If you stalk an NPC for too long, they'll eventually begin to run away and call the police. You can instantly stop any vehicle, even if it's going full speed, by opening the character's switch menu and then canceling it right away. Michael, Franklin, and Trevor were all originally supposed to have their own special mission completed sound effect, as evidenced in the game files. Till this day, nobody really knows why this was scrapped, and I think it would have been a nice addition that reflected their personalities. When walking, for some reason, Michael is slightly slower than Franklin or Trevor. This might be due to him being retired or not as active as he used to be. Most of the green mesh fences around tennis courts are ballistic permeable. You can shoot through them. That tiny detail can give you a small tactical advantage in fights that happen near courts. If you look closely at the Widowmaker icon on the weapon wheel, you'll notice a weird little mark on it, and once you spot it, you can't unsee it. Tipping this bouncer in your nightclub exactly 577 times will unlock you the Epsilon robes. Speaking of Epsilon, if you've been around GTA Online for a while, you might have completely forgotten that the very first time that you die in Grand Theft Auto Online, this cutscene actually plays.
Welcome, brother. Welcome. You see, they said I was a charlatan. A fraud, a nothing. But I am a miracle. Look and behold in wonder. And ask yourself, what does mighty Chris Formage, leader of the Epsilon program, do with his enormous power? Why, he uses it to watch people, of course. Join me anytime you like in watching. They never find out, and they can't harm you. It is the greatest pleasure on earth. And trust me, I've lain with a multitude of women.
And I find this little detail funny because it pretty much confirms that the Epsilon program is canonically real within the GTA universe. There are other things only OG players remember, such as Johnny on the spot actually delivering your vehicle personally instead of magically spawning it. This was, however, incredibly buggy and was removed as a quality of life update. Another thing is that back in the 2014 Independence Day special update, Rockstar added the displaceable fireworks. These fireworks were actually heavily customizable. You could choose the type, color, and timer for each individual firework, and you could hold up to 9 at any given time. Unfortunately, when the game was upgraded to Xbox One and PS4, Rockstar removed the option to use them through the interaction menu, effectively discontinuing them. It's been over 8 years since they were last available, so unless Rockstar decides to bring them back, these fireworks are likely gone forever. Lastly, one of the other things only OG players remember is that passive mode actually used to cost money to activate and couldn't be used in vehicles, so once you were in a vehicle, you were completely exposed. While we're on the topic of passive mode, there's a pretty sweaty way to kill players. You can do this by getting on a vehicle, driving at a fast speed towards them and jumping out at the last minute, making your car not invisible to them. This will even count in the score. Inside the Diamond Casino and Resort, you can find women's bathrooms that for some reason have urinals in them. It's unclear whether this was a simple mapping oversight or Rockstar's idea of a joke, but either way, it's definitely one of the stranger interiors mistakes in the game. If you own a CEO office, you can call your assistant to recover a personal vehicle from the car impound for 1K if you need to. You can actually fast travel to your CEO office from anywhere on the map. All you need to do is call your assistant and request a luxury helicopter. Once you're inside, select quick travel and you'll instantly teleport straight to your office. It works pretty much like the taxi feature in the story mode. There is, however, a much quicker option to teleport around the map. If you have an active heist, the setup mission text message will pretty much pop up every time you're in a lobby. So if you're ever in a hurry, clicking this option will teleport you back to either your apartment, facility arcade, or Kosatka, depending on where your active heist takes place. However, if you actually want to fast travel to a specific location from your safe house, meaning doing the exact opposite, you can actually do this if you're a VIP member in the casino through the limousine service. And lastly, as for the teleportation method, if you use an RC car or a tank and drive to whatever location, you can start a job and back out to spawn where you last were instead of where you selected the RC. It'll even teleport your personal vehicle. Here's a weird little trick. If you want to sit in the backseat of your own car, which you normally can't do, set yourself as a CEO, walk to the rear door and hold triangle when prompted, or Y on Xbox. You'll pop into the back seat. There's a hidden walkway underneath the Del Perro pier. It's perfect if you ever want to sneak up on someone or escape unnoticed during a fight. It's one of those secret spots that most players never even realize exist. At this location during nighttime, you can find a strange golden tree that glows for no apparent reason. It doesn't emit any visible light source, so it's most likely just a lighting bug or a shader glitch left over from development. In the early weeks after GTA Online launched, there was a bizarre glitch that could randomly swap your character's gender, resulting in some truly cursed combinations, like a male head on a female's body or vice versa. Even stranger, this bug could also affect the character's race. Some players even reported that when showering, their character's original head would disappear and be replaced with the head of someone of an entirely different race. There are many actions where you can use in-game voice chat. You can use it for crowd control in OG Heist, for fast robberies in convenience stores.
Give me a second! No need to shout! I'm right here!
For RP while singing in the shower, and to scream in the roller coaster, also for RP. If you have the LCD earpiece, it will actually light up when you speak. Also, your mouth moves while you speak. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that almost every single parachute location is completely bugged. If you put a suppressor on a regular pistol, you can no longer take the easy way out. Speaking of the easy way out, it is actually possible to hit other players with that shot, as the bullet actually goes through you. Another funny thing about the easy way out option is that Rockstar actually used to promote it as official in-game advice. One of the old tooltips said, "Things getting too tough? Take the easy way out." Is almost always an option in the interaction menu. It was, of course, quietly removed later, probably because Rockstar realized how dark that sounded. If you equip the double action revolver from Red Dead 2 and quickly tap the weapon wheel button, for most players that's L1 on PlayStation or LB on Xbox, your character will spin the revolver around in their hand. It's a small detail, but one that really sells the gunslinger vibe, similar to how you can also do it in Red Dead 2. The double action revolver has a hidden detail that only works if you're using a controller. If you slowly pull down the trigger, you can actually see the hammer on the revolver cocking back in real time. It's only visible in first person mode and other players can't see it happen, making it one of those tiny but satisfying Rockstar details. This glowing orange can be actually shot and rolled around the map. Nine contact missions were removed from the jobs menu back in 2014, but you can still play them if you find an old player-made playlist that includes one of those jobs. They're extremely rare to encounter these days, so if you stumble on one in a playlist, consider it a vintage relic. Your GTA Online character could technically be one of the children of some of the most famous characters from previous Rockstar games. In the character creator, you can actually choose your character's father to be Claude from GTA 3. Nico Bellic from GTA 4, or even John Marston from Red Dead Redemption, which doesn't really make much sense chronologically, but there you go. In the mission Complications, where Franklin sneaks into Michael's house, he has to climb on top of his van to reach the open window. However, this wasn't the original plan. Franklin was actually meant to climb up the vines on the side of the house instead. This is backed up by an unused climbing animation found in the game files that matches the vines perfectly. Like many other cut features in GTA 5, it's unknown why Rockstar decided to remove it. Fall damage in GTA Online is calculated in a pretty weird way. Basically, the amount of damage you take depends on the height difference between where your character first fell and where they landed. So, for example, if you go flying off a bike on a lower surface and land on a slightly higher one, you'll actually take little to no fall damage. While scoped in, the heavy sniper makes a bolt action sound right after firing. But that's actually a mistake, since the heavy sniper doesn't use a bolt to chamber the next round. On PlayStation, you can use the touchpad to change radio stations or weapons while driving. It's pretty convenient. If you call Lester and choose the turn blind eye option, you can actually steal a cop car and the NPC passenger cop won't get out, meaning you can drive around with him like your own personal partner. This trick also works with SWAT/news vehicles. However, once the timer runs out, you'll regain a wanted level. But if you call Lester again to remove the cops, it'll go away while your NPC cop buddy stays in the car until you come to a full stop. If you drive past another player while they're committing a crime, your passenger cop can actually turn hostile towards them, jump out, and start a shootout. It can be an hilarious way to throw off other players. The All-Seeing Eye is GTA's version of the Illuminati, and you can spot references to it all over Los Santos. The symbol appears in multiple locations, from murals and building designs to statues and even company logos. One of the clearest examples is the SecureServes logo, which directly incorporates the eye imagery, hinting at Rockstar's ongoing theme of conspiracy and hidden control throughout the series. Here's one I really love. Way out in the ocean, there's a strange underwater hatch that most players will never stumble upon. It's widely believed to be a reference to the TV show Lost. If you swim close enough, you'll hear a series of tap codes coming from the inside. When decoded, it spells out, "Hey, how do you fancy going bowling?" A direct nod to Roman's iconic line from GTA 4. It's a subtle but brilliant detail, and honestly, I really hope GTA 6 keeps hiding more of these mysterious little secrets beneath the surface. It's one of my favorite things from the game. If you jog from Paleto Bay to Vespucci Beach down the west coast, it will take about 30 minutes and you should level your stamina up twice in the process. If you're behind cover in a PvP situation and use a grenade launcher, spamming the fire button while blind firing will make it shoot at a ridiculously fast fire rate, way faster than normal. It's one of those broken mechanics that somehow never got patched, and it can absolutely melt enemies if you time it right. Laszlo Jones, yes, that Laszlo, isn't just the eccentric radio host you hear across nearly every GTA title. He actually worked as a producer, writer, and in-game performer for both GTA 5 and GTA Online, contributing to the humor and tone of the series for decades. Laszlo has been a DJ or host on various in-game radio stations since GTA 3, so it was no surprise to see him appear in person in GTA 5. Unfortunately though, Laszlo left Rockstar Games in 2020, so whether he'll make a return in GTA 6 remains to be seen. Some businesses and signs around Los Santos, like the Jetson Terminal at LSIA, mistakenly refer to Los Santos as a state. In reality, of course, I don't even need to mention this, but Los Santos is a city, and the state is San Andreas. I guess it's one of those small oversights that somehow made it through a decade of updates. Or maybe early in development, Los Santos was supposed to be the state. Bulletproof helmets actually reduce headshot damage taken from other players. Kinda cool to see they aren't just entirely cosmetic, but actually have a function in-game. At this spot, there's a billboard that still has the word temp written all over it, most likely short for temporary. It seems Rockstar simply forgot to replace it with the final texture during development, leaving behind a funny little placeholder that somehow made it into the finished game. This is a small but impressive detail. Your clothes actually get wet up until the exact level you went into the water. It's one of those subtle touches that most games don't even bother to replicate, but Rockstar actually made sure it reacts realistically. Also, when your character's clothes do get wet, it takes exactly 1 minute and 10 seconds for them to completely dry. Regardless of whether it's day or night, sunny or cloudy, the drying time never changes. There's actually a feature in GTA Online that lets you send emails to other players using the in-game internet on your phone. Most people have no idea it exists, probably because it's completely pointless and no one ever uses it. Players have long discovered that it's actually possible to get inside the train in GTA 5. This has been around for so many years that no one really knows if it's an intentional feature or just a long-standing bug that Rockstar never bothered to patch. In one of the in-game phone calls with LJT, you know, the biker contact, he accidentally slips up and says, "Hey, it's Lester, I mean LJT.
Hey, it's JT. Ooh, we got trouble at work. Get over there, or you'll lose product.
Basically confirming what most players suspected all along, that LJT is just Lester using a voice changer to disguise himself. On this highway, there's a series of numbers and letters that, if you decipher them, you'll get the phrase, "All you had to do was follow the damn train, CJ." If you're stuck on one of those missions where you're trying to stop a moving vehicle, there's a much easier way than shooting at the driver. Just use the compact EMP launcher. One hit will instantly shut down the car's engine, forcing it to a stop. It's one of the fastest and cleanest methods to take control of any getaway or target vehicle. There's a pretty weird glitch in the MC Clubhouse Darts minigame cutscene where the game will sometimes randomly pull another player character model from your session and use it in place of your own. This means you could start a darts game and suddenly see a completely different player's character acting out your animation. There's a well-known racing technique in GTA Online called curb boosting, often used by speedrunners and pro racers. By rapidly driving on and off curbs, you can increase your car's speed significantly. It's one of those weird quirks of the game's physics that ended up becoming a competitive advantage. The GTA Online protagonist is considered the first female protagonist in the universe of the Grand Theft Auto series, as both genders are treated as canon story-wise, and the first one overall to have some kind of personality applied to her character. She is also the 7th female protagonist to appear in the entire Grand Theft Auto series, followed by, of course, Lucia, the first voiced female protagonist in the series that's in the upcoming game GTA 6. On the Xbox 360 versions of GTA Online, you could apply a pure black window tint to your cars, except for the front windshield. This feature was removed later on, most likely because of the introduction of first-person mode in 2014, which made those tints completely block your view. At the El Gordo Lighthouse, the lamp actually only rotates when you're directly looking at it. The moment you turn away, it completely stops moving. A surprising number of interiors in GTA Online are actually hidden under the map. If you know where to look and manage to glitch or go out of bounds near one, you can parachute directly onto them. Here's a map of every single interior that exists out of bounds. The ones with the green outline can be accessed in free mode by default, while the red outline ones can only be entered during certain missions or events. Keep in mind that every interior behaves differently. Some will immediately kick you out, others will let you wander around, and a few might even softlock your game entirely. At a set of very specific coordinates deep in the ocean, there's a strange white cube with the phrase "This does not exist" written on all sides. It's placed so deep underwater that it's completely unreachable through normal gameplay. The only way to see it is by using tools like Codewalker or mods that remove the map limitations. Whether it's an inside joke from Rockstar developers or just a bizarre leftover test asset, no one really knows. Before 2024, there actually weren't any animals in GTA Online at all. Unlike story mode, the online world was completely empty of wildlife. Animals were finally added in late 2023 and early 2024, likely thanks to hardware improvements and Rockstar testing animal AI for GTA 6. When you're driving on the highway or really any main road, if you flip your camera around and drive on the wrong side, cars will actually stop spawning in front of you. This happens because the game only loads traffic and assets within your field of view. So by looking backward, you're essentially tricking the game into not rendering what's ahead, making it a neat little trick to get across the map faster without any traffic slowing you down. The Hookie's restaurant in GTA 5 is believed to be a reference to Fast and Furious. It closely resembles the seaside diner scene where Paul Walker and Vin Diesel's characters, Brian O'Connor and Dominic Toretto, share a meal together near the coast. The ocean view, wooden structure, and relaxed roadside setting all feel like a clear nod to that iconic moment from the movie. Right next to the Union Depository, under one of the nearby tunnels, there's a piece of graffiti that says Los Santos. At first glance, it looks like any other street tag, but if you look closely, the font is identical to the one Rockstar used for the original Grand Theft Auto game from over 25 years ago. It's a subtle callback that most players walk right past, but it's one of those small Easter eggs that connects GTA 5 all the way back to where the series began. Okay, this one is pretty crazy. So if you completed over 600 bunker resupply missions, God help you, there's a small chance you'll trigger a secret UFO resupply mission when starting one between 9 PM and 11 PM. The mission features aliens and even an alien egg, making it one of the rarest Easter eggs in GTA Online to date. Speaking of this Easter egg, there's also a hidden alien tattoo that is notoriously difficult to unlock. To get it, you first need to complete the secret UFO resupply mission, then During a stormy night between 1 and 4 a.m., take a MacBeth shot in your nightclub, you have to pass out, and then you'll wake up on top of the Mount Chiliad as a UFO flies away. When you wake up again, you'll have the tattoo, one of the most mysterious unlocks in the entire game, and honestly, I don't know how somebody even discovered this. There's an odd audio file named Sewer Gators in the game files that shows up in certain sewer tunnel locations. Players have heard the clip in those areas and flagged it as a creepy ambient audio. Back in the day, some players used to feel monster myths like Ratman, but there's no proof of any actual creature. It's a weird sound asset that adds atmosphere, and that's about as far as we can credibly go with it. Have a listen for yourself. My personal theory, however, is that this can be the famous Moose Man.
Yeah, look like you about to take us to find the Moose Man.
Who the hell is the Moose Man?
In Director's Mode, there's a character called OC Bala Boss, which should make him a member of the Bala's gang, but he's actually a family's member. It's a small mistake, but one that's been in the game ever since launch. Just like its real-life counterpart, Los Santos is implied to have poor traffic control measures. This can be seen when sometimes switching to Michael or Franklin, they will be stuck on the highway with lots of congestion.
I swear, half my life in traffic.
However, the traffic jams seen in the switches are totally scripted and do not happen in normal gameplay, though it is common to encounter tailbacks and slow traffic on busy roads. In the Contract DLC, a few hidden voice lines from your assistant and Franklin make fun references to classic GTA characters and even some celebrities from past games. Your assistant casually drops names like Mad Dog, OG Locke, and Tanisha, while Franklin himself mentions Pavel, Trevor, and Lester, tying together multiple areas of the GTA universe in a subtle but nostalgic way. After finishing the contract missions and starting the Lamar and Franklin co-op jobs, Franklin briefly mentions a fire that happened in GTA San Andreas.
Hey, this is like that shit that went down over in Flint County back in the day.
This is actually a callback to the mission Are You Going to San Fierro, where CJ burns down Truth's farm. Even though Rockstar has said that the 3D and HD universe are separate, this reference has made some players wonder if San Andreas might have been quietly retconned into the same shared timeline as GTA 5, or if it's just a cheeky nod for longtime fans. The ability to purchase properties through the in-game internet was removed from single player and later repurposed and implemented in GTA Online instead. Around the map, you can find pool tables and even air hockey tables, but strangely, neither of them can actually be played. Game files show models for pucks, paddles, and pool racks, along with sound effects for both games, suggesting they were once intended to be fully playable minigames. It's a shame they were cut. Playing pool or air hockey against friends in GTA Online would have been a great addition. At this location near the Vinewood racetrack, right next to the Diamond Casino, you can actually find this strangely textured hedge. This bug seems to only appear in GTA Online. In story mode, the hedge looks completely normal. Another interesting thing about it is that it shares the same color palette as the old version of the casino, which likely means this glitch occurred when Rockstar was replacing the original building with the Diamond Casino update. There are a few other small bugs around the area caused by the same map renovation. So it's probably just one of those leftover graphical quirks that never got patched. At this specific location, you can occasionally find some unusually large cockroaches crawling around. Definitely not a place you'd want to hang out in real life. Above these shops, you can find another weird little detail, a set of stairs that go straight into what looks like an unused shopping area. It's got space for stores and signs, but absolutely nothing inside. No NPCs, no props, nothing. Just an eerie, empty corridor. Nobody really knows why this is here. It's not used in any mission or event, so maybe Rockstar built it as a test interior or a scrapped part of a DLC that never came out. If your character health drops to around 4% and you light up 10 cigarettes in a row, they'll die slowly and painfully. I guess moral of the story is don't smoke. Molotov cocktails are one of the few throwables that can't be purchased from ammunition, but many players don't even know that you can actually find them for free inside your Kosatka submarine, sitting right on the kitchen counter. Here's another fun fact for you. Rockstar is absolutely tripping with this Halloween update. While I was editing, I was AFK and this happened to me. Can somebody explain to me what the fuck this is? In the early years of GTA Online, missions actually had a neat little detail where the dialogue will change depending on your character's gender. You can notice it best in the prologue mission with Lamar, where he picks you up from the airport and introduces you to Los Santos' criminal life. The way he talks and the dialogue slightly differs if your character is male or female.
That's what I'm talking about. Come here, holler at your boy, man. It's good to finally meet you, man. After all that time on Life Invaders, man, we're friends in real life now, huh? Look at you, dude. God damn, girl, you fine as a motherfucker. Ooh, I mean that like not like in a stalker type way or nothing. I'm just saying, like, you do look good.
First time flying?
You know, we've been friends online for so long, it's time for us to take our relationship a little bit further, like in like a sexual way or something. Oh, my bad. It ain't like that. Excuse me,
This feature seems to have been dropped for future updates, and now most characters use they them pronouns to reference your character, or even give you gender neutral nicknames like player, capitan, or sport instead.
Now same for them. Walk with me. You know a guy by the name of Wade?
Speaking of features that seem to have been quietly dropped, radio stations also used to comment on the in-game time. Certain DJs, like the ones on Radio Mirror Park or Radio Los Santos, would actually mention the time of day and react to it, like saying good morning or good night. Newer stations, though, don't do this anymore, and most of them don't even randomize their playlist. Instead, they just loop through the same mix of songs over and over. The casino and Maze Bank Arena were actually meant to be accessible in GTA Online from the very beginning. This is backed up by an unused voice lines from Lester, where he mentions hearing about a new casino opening up in town. There's also a cut dialogue from Dom referencing the Maze Bank Arena being open to players, meaning Rockstar originally had plans for both interiors way earlier than when the Diamond Casino and the Arena Wars update finally dropped.
So listen, I just heard a casino opened up in town. Apparently it's pretty fun. Maybe you want to check it out.
Hey, this sick indoor dirt track arena is opened in town. They're running time trials at the Kickstart Arena, so might be a chance for you to step it up.
This NPC right here is wearing a John Marston t-shirt. However, he can only be found in certain missions such as Daddy's Little Girl from the story mode. There are a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of unused police radio lines in the game files that reference vehicles like the RC Bandito and the go-kart, which is wild considering these lines date all the way back to 2013, long before those DLCs even existed. The same files also mention stuff like hydraulic bobcats, rocking chairs, roller skates, and even motorized skateboards. You can have a listen for yourself.
Combine, Wayfarer, Hell Fury, Haikumai, Bobcat, Ferraki, Go-kart, Squatty, pair of roller skates, skateboard, motorized skateboard.
If you visit the Mackenzie Field hangar, which became a purchasable property in 2025, you can spot a pair of Lemat revolvers hanging on the back wall. That's the same weapon featured in the Red Dead Redemption series. North Yankton, the snowy town from GTA's prologue, isn't normally accessible in GTA Online. But over the years, players have discovered tons of glitches to get there. As of now, though, there is no legitimate way to visit it in free mode. The only current method to see North Yankton again is through one of the zombie survival modes Rockstar added back in 2024, which briefly brings that frozen map back to life. You can delete almost every contact from your in-game phone except for mechanic and Moore's Mutual Insurance, which makes sense since both are essential services you'll always need. If your car doesn't have bulletproof tires, doing a burnout for too long can actually pop your tires, so maybe go easy on showing off your donuts. On last-gen consoles, it was actually possible to stop a train dead by placing sticky bombs on the front and detonating them. That exploit was removed with the transition to newer console generations and subsequent patches. On this location, at the beach, there's a rainbow umbrella with some bizarre physics. If you hit it with a car, it'll float just above the ground, and once it's like that, nothing can knock it over. It stays hovering there indefinitely, completely unaffected by explosions, gunfire, or vehicles. I don't know about you guys, but the logo on this building looks exactly like the Legend of Zelda symbol to me. Is it a subtle reference? I'll leave that up to you to decide. According to the GTA wiki, the player characters in GTA Online actually have listed heights. The male protagonist stands 6 feet tall, or 1 meters and 83 centimeters, while the female character is listed at 5'9", which is approximately 175 centimeters. Also, the online protagonist's signature color is dark blue, as seen in the HUD and UI, which is somewhat similar to Michael's color. However, originally, it was meant to be yellow, as seen in the gameplay trailer, and the color of the screen flashes when switching to this character. You can actually lower the suspension on any vehicle if you shut the center of the tire. Just be careful you don't pop the tires accidentally. Originally, the Online in the Grand Theft Auto Online logo used the famous priced down font as opposed to the custom font used in the final version. Apparently, if you're in a solo session and you idle for too long, your character will start hallucinating a version of himself attacking them with a knife. This is most likely another thing they've added as part of the Halloween event, but still, pretty creepy. Sadly, gang attacks have become much more less frequent because the new content and updates have removed many of the original locations and changed how the events even trigger. As you can see in this clip, I'm standing right where a gang attack is supposed to be, but no event triggers. On Cayo Perico, you can't use radio stations while driving vehicles, which, actually makes sense, since the island is supposed to be located somewhere in Colombia or the Caribbean, far from Los Santos' broadcast range. However, during Cayo Perico races, the radio suddenly works just fine, meaning you can freely switch between stations. It's likely an oversight from Rockstar, but, it's still a pretty funny detail. Jets in GTA can actually fly and even land backwards if you're skilled enough with the controls. It's pretty tricky to pull off, but once you master it, you can touch down almost anywhere on the map, even spots you'd never expect a jet to land. Each of the three protagonists in GTA 5 appears to embody elements from different Rockstar Games titles. Michael reflects both Max Payne and Red Dead Redemption. He's a retired, world-weary criminal with a family, emotional baggage, and even a slow-motion bullet time ability during gunfights. Franklin, on the other hand, channels Midnight Club Los Angeles, a young, ambitious driver trying to rise through the ranks of Los Santos street scene. Trevor, on the other hand, clearly draws from Manhunt with his violent, unpredictable, and psychotic tendencies. Interestingly, their personalities even show in their sleeping patterns. Michael sleeps for 6 hours, Franklin for 8, and Trevor for 12. The artwork for executives and other criminals, further adventures in finance and felony, and import-export updates all feature the same version of the GTA Online protagonist, a white male with short brown hair and a noticeable scar running across his nose and cheek. Interestingly, this exact character can't actually be recreated in-game, since the hairstyle doesn't exist in the character creator and scars aren't a permanent customization option. The 3 bars displayed in the top left corner of your in-game phone screen represent your connection quality to the current session. Fewer bars mean a weaker connection, which can lead to lag or disconnections, while full bars indicate a stable and smooth online experience. If you select your agency as your spawn point in GTA Online, you will sometimes appear in the bed next to Chop, which is something I very much like. Also, canonically, as of 2025, Chop is at least 12 years old. The typical lifespan of a Rottweiler is 8 to 10 years, but this detail doesn't matter since Chop is actually immortal, since he accidentally ingested some of Lamar's LD organics.
What's wrong with your dog?
Oh, he just... Chop, come here, boy. He old, man. Come here.
C-Dog, come here, boy.
I don't like the look of this.
Chop, you worrying us, dog? Man, that dog high as I can tell. It's all in the eyes, man. 100% purebred, satisfied LD Organics customer right there.
Chop, what the I tell you about eating weed?
You're gonna have to get the little homie some snacks, because he gonna have some major munchies in a minute.
No, but on a serious note, while we're talking about Chop, there's a misconception among GTA fans that Chop is actually Franklin's dog, and this isn't the case. It's actually Lamar's. But for some reason, Franklin ends up owning Chop by the end of the game. On Radio Los Santos, the word PlayStation in Kendrick Lamar's song ADHD is deliberately distorted. This was likely done to avoid potential trademark or licensing issues. I'd play it for you, but well, you're just gonna have to take my word for it. If you choose the Power and Money interior design while setting up your agency, you can find a painting depicting 4 characters mid-fight. What's interesting is that these figures look strikingly similar to some of the most popular early GTA YouTubers, mainly Banos Gaming, Louis Caliver, H2O Delirious, and Omwrecker. These creators were hugely influential in GTA's online community during its early years. Whether it's an intentional nod or just a coincidence, it feels like a subtle but fitting tribute from Rockstar to the players who helped shape the game's online culture. Despite being prominently featured textures in almost all of the snack counters, we can't actually use this candy called Earthquake as a snack. We can only use P's and Q's, Ego Chaser, Meteorite, E-Cola, and the recently added Sprunk. There's also this candy bar that says Zebra, which for some reason I would have really liked to be able to have as a snack. One of the in-game Up and Atom Burger commercials is set in the 1950s, and if you look closely, the footage actually reuses scenes and imagery from LA Noire, another Rockstar title. It's a clever reuse of assets and a nice wink to fans who recognize the vintage aesthetic. All the city lights in Los Santos actually shut off between 5:50 and 6 a.m. And what's really impressive is that it doesn't happen all at once. Instead, the lights gradually fade across different parts of the city, just like in real life. It's such a subtle detail that most players probably never notice. This famous scene where Lamar roasts Franklin for his yee-ass haircut actually gets reprised in the short trip missions that unlock after completing the contract DLC.
Cause you's a dirty ass B-I-E-Z-itch.
What?
I'm not sure why this isn't talked about more often, but the fingerprint cloning puzzle during the Cayo Perico heist doesn't actually function as intended, and it's surprisingly easy to solve once you notice it. All you have to do is find the top piece of the fingerprint, and every other piece will follow in the correct order. The second piece comes right after the first, the third after that, and so on. If you didn't already know this, it can save you a good amount of time during the heist and make completing the Elite Challenge much more easier. There's a strange little glitch where your assault rifle can actually get stuck in your character's hand while parachuting. It doesn't affect gameplay at all, but it just looks pretty funny. Certain outfits in GTA Online actually give you passive abilities. For example, racing suits reduce the damage you take when falling off a bike, just like in real life, where the padding protects you. It's a small detail, but it shows how much attention Rockstar puts into even the little things. At the hippie camp in the Gran Sonora Desert, you can find a strange sequence of letters and numbers that read 6EQUJ5 painted on a wall. This is a direct reference to the WOW signal, a mysterious and unusually strong radio transmission detected by Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope in August of 1977. The signal was so unexpected that the researcher who discovered it wrote "wow" with an exclamation point next to the data printout. Its origin remains unknown, though many believe it may have been of extraterrestrial origin, which is probably why Rockstar references in this location. During the setup for the jewelry store heist in story mode, Lester mentions an Eastern European guy who was making moves in Liberty City, but eventually went quiet, as he says. This is a clear reference to Niko Bellic, of course, the protagonist of GTA 4. The line subtly suggests that Niko either retired from crime or possibly died, depending on how you interpret it.
There was an Eastern European guy making moves in Liberty City, but he went quiet.
And of course, this video of facts about GTA 5 wouldn't be complete if I didn't mention the ghost of Mount Gordo. So, on Mount Gordo, between 11 PM and midnight, you can spot the ghost of Jolene Cranley Evans, the murdered wife of the politician Jock Cranley. Her spirit hovers above the cliffs, and written in blood beneath her feet is the word Jock. This is one of the most famous GTA 5 secrets. What you may not know though, and I say this because I found out while I was researching this video, is that you can actually hear her scream if you stand at the bottom of the mountain right here. Yikes, very creepy. Kinda makes me wonder what they're gonna do for GTA 6. There probably must be some very scary ghosts in Leonida. While researching this video, I also came across this UFO hovering above Mount Chiliad. However, when I got close to it, it suddenly disappeared, followed by thunder and lightning. I'm not sure I've ever seen this before. There's a strange marking in Vinewood Hills that most players have probably driven past 100 times without even noticing. The numbers 1807 spray painted in large digits on a white wall. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than a bit of background detail, but some fans believe it hides a darker meaning. Next to the numbers, there's a small red arrow painted on the wall, and if you follow it, it points directly to a nearby house. This has led to a popular theory online that both the numbers and the house itself are a reference to the infamous Manson family murders that took place in Los Angeles in 1969. According to the theory, the 18 represents the number of people involved in the cult at its peak, and the 07 symbolizes the 7 confirmed victims. The theory gets even creepier when you actually visit the house. At night, you'll often find a strange party going on inside, a small group of NPCs just standing around with no music. But here's the weird part, if you try to interact with them in any way, they all instantly die. They don't fight back, they don't run, they just drop. Some players think this was an intentional reference to the murders, but in reality, it's most likely a bugged AI behavior that can be seen in other houses and random NPC spawns across the map. Still, When combined with the eerie number of the wall, it's easy to see how the myth took off. Personally, if you ask me, I think it's more likely that the 1807 is just the house number. Many of the nearby properties have similar numbers painted on their walls, probably just as a way for the homeowners to mark their addresses. And if it was meant to reference those real-life numbers, that would be an incredibly dark thing for Rockstar to slip in, even for them. Even if it happened over 50 years ago, it would be pretty bold. So I would be surprised if they actually did that intentionally. Sometimes when you're loading into a new session, whether it's story mode or GTA Online, you might hear random explosions in the distance before the world even fully loads. Players have nicknamed this the exploding clouds phenomenon, since it often happens while the clouds are still on screen during loading. For a long time, people assumed it was just a weird audio glitch or maybe even an intentional atmospheric effect, but the most widely accepted theory is that NPC pilots spawn into the map to fly commercial planes, and for some reason, they spawn mid-flight, causing the aircraft to crash straight into the ground and explode. The sound you hear during loading is supposedly those planes hitting the ground before you ever enter the world. It's kind of eerie to think about. A bunch of pilots suddenly disappearing and crashing over and over again in the background every time you start a session. And there you have it, guys. That was 60 minutes of GTA 5 useful and not so useful information, or 168 facts, give or take. This video took a minute to research, write, shoot, and edit. Jesus, look at that timeline. 1 hour is a very long time, so I appreciate you for sticking until the end. If you like this type of deep dives, make sure to like and subscribe so I know that it's worth delving into long projects like these. I think I might do one on GTA mysteries, but who knows, we'll see. Like scary mysteries. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to the GTA Wiki and the r/GTA subreddit for providing a lot of the information needed to make this video. Also, I wanted to thank you guys. In a short time, we've reached 2,000 subscribers. And I plan to keep bringing you more GTA related content that you can enjoy. So if you like this video, subscribe for more. Also, check out my previous videos on GTA 6. And that's it. See you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Peace.
Yeah, look like you about to take us to find the Moose Man.
Who the hell is the Moose Man?